Welcome to the Fedor World Pinball Championship, proudly presented by CueSports International and hosted here in Las Vegas at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino. We'd like to thank our other sponsors of the event, Diamond Billiard Products, Kamui, and Omega. We have coming up a one-loss side of the chart match. It is round 3, session 2. And right now I'd like to introduce our players for this match. First up, hailing from New Zealand, we put our heads together for Matt Edwards. And his opponent, hailing from Russia, can we put our hands together for Fedor Gorst. Gentlemen, you may lag or break. Have a great match, gentlemen.
Well, welcome everyone to the Predator World 10-Ball Championships. This is George Tejea in the booth with Jeremy Jones, bringing you this match live from Las Vegas, Nevada at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino. Jeremy, look at these players that we have.
Yeah, unbelievable. Fedor Gorst and Matt Edwards. Two young players from a ways away from Las Vegas, a bit the other side of the planet, but sure can play in both in the last couple of years, getting a lot of big exposure and some big events.
Sure, this man breaking, my gosh, he's a world junior champion. He's 19 years old, from Russia. Got here due to his world ranking. Unfortunately, he lost his first match to Tyler Steyer and is broken dry.
Yeah, and I watched him warm up quite a bit breaking, trying many different types of breaks, and the reason why he was doing that is because not many were very successful.
Oh, so he's struggling with the break.
Yeah, well, it seems so, at least on this table. You know, it can vary table to table.
Well, this young man right here is a 31-year-old New Zealand player. He is sponsored by Kamui Maz Excellence Billiards. He has a billiard supply store back home, and he was sent to the one-loss side by Mark Biesterbosch from Holland.
Yeah, Mark, well, no slouch there, no poor loss as far as Mark's playing really fantastic pull the last few years.
Well, out of 16 players playing right now in 8 matches, we have 3 Americans. Although I believe Homan counts as an American, even though he's German, but he lives in the U.S.
Well, no, he's representing Germany
Is
for
he?
sure. Yeah,
Okay. So
I'm
we
pretty
have,
sure, anyways.
Dominguez, Van Boning, and Lombardo are the 3 Americans playing, and 2 of them are playing each other. Shane's fighting for his tournament life. He's on the 1-loss side. Billy Thorpe sent him over last night's match.
Well, they asked me earlier kind of who I like still, and I still kind of like Shane to win the tournament for some reason. Jim mentioned it earlier that we're playing down to the final 16, 8 winners and 8 losers. Then we're going to have a redraw, meaning a winner against a loser.
All right.
For the final 16 and single elimination. So all records will be wiped clean at that point.
Yeah, the last 16 players will be racing to 10, not 8, but it's single elimination from there on in.
A tricky little shot here. He's got to spin the ball or just get dead between the 9-10. That doesn't really seem like much. Oh, and he may have gotten there. And if that was I think he did. Now this is another one.
No, by his body English, it tells me that corner's sticking out for him.
I think he's got a shot at the 5. Yes, I do.
Wow.
I think he's saying to himself, man,
Oh, yeah.
I wish I was trying that. I think he got pretty perfect as far as what could have happened.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But he's got to go by the 10 here.
The cameraman stepped in my way. There's a good shot of it right there.
Yeah, and he's got to dead roll this kind of, because going into the 10 firm is tricky.
Look at that.
Okay, so that's going to be an overhead, but that's because that was a little sacrifice in making sure he gets good clean contact on the 5, and it's just a tough one to dead roll the ball, especially being over the pocket like that. You want to put a hair more on it.
Well, for those of you that just joined us in this tournament, this is the Predator World 10-ball championship. This is a race to 8 10-ball. This is alternate break format. We're playing by WPA rules. The last ball pocketed must be the 10 to win the game. If it's made on a combo or a billiard, it plays like any other ball. It gets spotted immediately, and you continue to shoot.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I would have had to draw that around the table just because when you go into that rail, it kind of hugs a little bit when you hit it so hard, and it really takes a lot of energy off the cue ball. And I thought he could have maybe, drew to the back rail and spun it out 2 rails and down towards the 7. But regardless, it was a tough shot. And a little bit unfortunate to get held up by the side pocket.
Oh, yeah.
But that's twice. He's flirted with both those sides in our opening rack.
Well, let's hope the 3rd time isn't the charm.
Yeah. Another one of those kicks that surprisingly these top players become very accurate. Anytime the line you're kicking on and you can see the object ball, it's all in your peripheral, all in the way you're shooting, seems like you become very accurate all of a sudden.
It's funny because I've seen basically all the pros 2-rail kick this ball trying to make it. This very, very same shot, close to the middle of the table, just off the rail, and they'll kick at it with good speed too. This won't be real hard.
Okay.
Oh, he barely missed it, but he did miss it.
So ball in hand for Fedor after a dry break and a little bit of a scrambling run there for Matt Edwards. But
well, Fedor broke the ball, so he's back at the table, fortunately for him. And we are playing all ball fouls, so they don't want to touch a ball. There is not a presiding referee. There's one that's racking the balls, and but they only get called into the arena to make a call. They won't. If they see a foul and the other player doesn't say a word, I don't believe that it gets played as a foul.
Really? Okay.
Now, we saw that in the first in a match with Earl, actually. You were commentating that match. Earl actually touched the 10-ball, and Ralph Souquet questioned John Lehman, our head referee.
Okay, that's what they were talking about.
That's what they were talking about.
But did John just not see it, or did John say it's up to him to call it?
It's up to him to call it. That's
wow,
exactly
okay.
what he said, and that's what that had to be clear.
Oh, just like the outer refs then?
Yes.
Okay.
Just like the outer refs.
All right, I got you. That's fine. Good rule.
Yeah, but Ralph
Same
didn't
as
know,
the outer refs.
Yeah, Ralph didn't know that it was all ball fouls. He wasn't sure, so he didn't say anything. He won the game anyway, so it didn't make a difference.
Yeah, and went on to win the match.
Yep.
Um, Fedor
wins the first game.
And he wins the first game and holds serve. And Gorst, he plays a lot of Euro tours, so he's very used to the all ball fouls. That won't be much of an issue really with any of the players. It could happen, and we've seen it happen in some big moments, but for the most part, that's something they're going to handle. And I'm really surprised. That's why I'd like to almost see the video on him moving the 10 ball.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why is because Earl is like, I know Earl can be a little bit.
I was actually sitting next door, right next to you guys, and I wrote that down. I was going to hand that to you.
Yeah. Well, Earl sometimes is, what's the right word?
Explosive?
Well, explosive, controversial. Maybe that's the right word, for some. And a great, been a great ambassador for our sport. Been in a lot of things for our sport. But one thing is, he's the most, as far as worrying about something happening, worrying about when we used to play rack for each other. I think if Earl would have been realized he touched the 10, he would have handed ball in hand. I've seen him do it many times.
It was when he pulled the cue back up, and I don't think he realized it was a very light touch. The ball moved about a quarter inch.
Right.
Well,
he's probably looking at the shot and just didn't realize it. Because definitely a fair sport.
Matt trails 1-0. The 4-ball going in?
Maybe, but
nope.
That's when you can miss it. We talked about it with the template. If you break right there, he was breaking from his left and he crossed it over and hit the extreme right part of the 1. Well, that's when the balls kind of lose track a little bit.
We are sponsored by Predator, CueSports International, Diamond Billiard Products, Kamui, and Omega Billiards.
And Fedor may be in a push-out situation here, and not a real nice one, because anytime you're not offered to push out to both sides of the 1 or both sides of whatever ball you have to push out for. Well, now things become tricky because you can see that's why he's rolling out to more of a challenge than he is an easy safety to where he could clip it and move the ball around the table, because things are difficult here.
Now, see, I like hitting the top of the 1 ball as we see it on the screen, but there's a possible scratch there, so I think he'll avoid that. Banking it back up and trying to get behind the 6 or the 3.
That's pretty subtle, and there's a few gaps, but these guys are going in from this situation, and that's kind of what he rolled out to, was a challenge.
Yeah. And you take it or I'll take it, and I'm shooting at it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Okay. You can be aggressive coming down with the cue ball. Nothing's for certain on the 2, but this won't be hit super lightly. And you have an element of not giving up a shot. Not saying that happened here, but
yeah, there was he could have hit it, and maybe got around something, or yeah, there was.
And he let off it probably a little bit, right, George? Just a little light with the a little light with the cueing.
He decelerated the cue at the end there. It looked like it. Looks like he might have a shot. Can't really tell with the 8-ball there.
Yeah, well, if he does, I think drawing the ball is bringing him back into the 8. And going forward, there's a heck of a lot of traffic, especially maybe a hair elevated. So you may see him take a little more cinch on this and just draw back into the 8 and get open on the 2 and work from there.
Well, you're looking at the top view of the table, and that's beautiful Predator XK2 cloth. And we'll get some shots later on of the balls. They're Predator also.
Yeah, I wouldn't try and do too much here if it isn't there. Trying to get to the good side of the 2 may cause a miss. I'd just probably he got over there. It's not easy though, and it doesn't look like a full pocket on the 2. And he's got to level out and roll it in. It's going to go into the 9 with the cue ball. This is a big shot early in the match, and the key to this shot is don't let up on it.
He's got half a pocket or a full pocket?
Well, he played shape there like he really liked it. So, but don't let up on this, because you don't want the cue ball to glance off the 9 and get over the 7. get through this a little bit and sacrifice a little more distance. He overcut it.
Yep. But he's going to end up safe for the time being. I mean, he's going to be able to cut something, but can you stick the cue ball off the bottom rail behind the 5 there?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And should be pretty accurate with it. You could roll it. The reason why you could roll it is the 6 is there. So even if you don't creep in behind the 4 with the cue ball, you figured, unless you leave the 2 over the side, you figured not to leave a shot up in the corner on the 2. But drawing it, you get a pretty good feeling for the shot. So he looks like he's going to roll it. But there's a lot of protection in this shot, so it's okay. See, so it's like kind of jelly roll right there, and then maybe you don't leave the 2 all the way down if you don't snooker them. So.
Yeah, that was very well done. Pretty sure he planned getting there too, especially with the speed.
And Fedor's in trouble if he can't get between the 5 and 10 with the cue ball, and that looks like that's the case. He can't shoot between the 10 and 7 and bend it back. Man, this is
He's in
this is
pickle,
tough.
yeah.
Oh, it looks like he can maybe get between the 5 and 10. Well, yeah, that's the definite way. Even if you have to jump it a little bit, I think that's easier than anything else. Okay, he'll want to shoot the 2 by the 6 here, as long as it's not any question on going or not, because you want to leave the 4 to get to the 5.
Different patterns.
I mean, you could shoot a 2-4 combo, but
Oh, I was thinking that I
just-
would put the cue ball against the rail, shoot the 2 ball up in the corner pocket, and roll for the 3 in the opposite corner. Then
Right.
have the 4 after that, instead of going
Yeah.
down the rail like this.
yeah, well, the 6 being there, you have to play from above quite a bit. And now you're talking about maybe shooting a 3 from on the rail above. But this, either way, really kind of like whatever your preference is. I like your shot if you could keep the cue ball off the rail pretty nice.
Sure. Well, since the 2 ball was off the rail and the cue ball's against it, you should be able to come off the rail. Real
Yeah.
nice, That works. I mean, it's just no problem with those types of shots. I just feel the other one is easier. For me, it's easier.
Right.
Preference again, like what you said.
Okay, a little.
Try to come right into the 10 ball, or do you go right
I'd
around
probably
the ball?
not question the speed. If I feel like I can hold it above the 5, I come into the 10 ball. But I don't want to draw into the 10 ball. I have to be able to just roll it with right English and let it check up, because a lot of people have lost the cue ball going around the 5 before and overhit it.
And overhitting, you could get behind the 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
That's why I like going into it.
don't anticipate the speed of this table. Now that's pretty nice.
That's very well done. He went long on that too. He went way out.
We have. I don't recall seeing an underhit on this table at all. It's been as far as a mistake. I mean, it's been mainly the overhit.
I overheard somebody say that Darren Appleton said this is probably the fastest table he's ever played on.
Well, it's pretty fast, and it's also the dry conditions right here in Las Vegas. The good clean pool balls.
Good shot of the 19-year-old from Russia.
I would have to imagine these two have played each other before in some format.
Euro Tour, yeah. Well, New Zealand, does he get in for the Euro Tours, Matt Edwards?
That I'm not 100% of. I'm sure he's played in a few. I wouldn't think he would make. That's a pretty long trip.
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from the Euro Tours, but that's a long trip. Regardless. Okay, that's going to rest on the rail and make it to where he's got to put some speed on the cue ball now. Shouldn't be a problem, but
He's going to want to come back to that side of the table.
Yeah,
Not sure he
he's-
can get it around.
yeah, and he's right on that angle. He could
Yeah.
do it with a high inside ball also. Probably going to punch it a couple rails around though.
He did bring it around.
Yeah, and elevated. You couldn't see it from your overhead as so much, but just kind of like 45 degrees on the cue and really punched to the angle. Struck it well, though.
Yes, he did. I mean, when I saw him, I couldn't tell he was elevated. I had the screen in my way. I couldn't see him. I was watching the monitor, so I saw it on the monitor. And like you said, you couldn't tell he was elevated.
Well, looks pretty comfortable with the pace of this table. I believe it's his first match on the TV table.
I have not seen him on the TV table.
I think Matt was here for the 9-ball. Kind of recall seeing a few of those guys from down under.
Oh yes, there was a few. And we're tied at 1. Let's take a look at our little live scoring. I know that the 3 Americans, 2 Americans that are in, 2 of the 3 are making a statement. Dominguez leads Maiten Inkyo 3-1, and Van Boning leads Lombardo 5-1. Shane making a little bit of a statement there. Mario
Well, I mean, his first,
Todd.
his first loss, he only missed that 4-ball,
Yeah.
and that was it. I mean, so. Oh no, excuse me,
that
that
was
was the 9-ball.
yeah.
Yeah, it was the 9-ball.
No, Billy played real well. And
yeah, that's
actually,
what I heard. I
he
actually didn't get to see it, but
broke Shane. Billy played very, very well. Shane had a couple of breaks that weren't very Shane-like, and
Right.
And Billy was able to kind of come away with the match. It was hard fought, and it was well played. He didn't really make a lot of mistakes, or many mistakes.
and we'll see. Fedor would practice a really light break,
Well,
and then he practiced a harder break.
Oh, okay.
And he was struggling with both. Now he's made the 7. Oh, cue ball! Wow, what a
Wow.
kiss! Wow.
You see that so often. And we talked about that during one of the matches, how they just break so well that the cue ball gets kissed around with all the object balls moving around.
Now that one, sometimes you'll pop the break and you'll send it towards that side and it wasn't going and it'll get kissed in it. But it's a little your fault because you got it so close to the side. But that one was an odd kiss from behind that you don't see much of.
Well, this is looking pretty straightforward as long as he doesn't get behind anything. He's got paths to the 3-ball from 2 sides. The 8-ball kind of sits in the middle of both of them.
Yeah, and I would get position as quick as I could here because this is just what the rack's about, as you said, George. Just make this 2-ball, and I'm probably come 1 rail. I don't want to get a lot of speed on the cue ball and just stay right in between the 8 and 9 from some distance and then just play the 4 on the side. He could come around, but I think 1 rail is the better play, especially on this table.
I like that the best, and that's absolutely perfect, ideal.
Yeah, you notice how he didn't mind 6 feet.
No.
Yeah, take no chances.
Not with the ball there, and he'll probably play the 4-ball on the side, come right up for the 5. If he gets straight in on the 5, this game should be over.
And that's where, like that 2-ball, a lot of people say, well, if you come 2 rails, you're on the line you want. But you're putting speed on the cue ball then, and things can get away from you, or a little bump on the 9 could be hazardous. In those positions, whenever balls are real handy, get position as quick as you can on that first one.
Yeah. And the other thing, if he comes 2 rails and happens to nibble the 9, he's stuck behind the 4.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
Anytime you're putting a little more speed to create a line, well, a little bit of a miss hit, you miss the target, and things can go wrong.
Here.
Yeah.
He's looking real good here.
Well, as far as to open a match, I'm not sure I've seen anybody that looks more comfortable with the speed of the table. We've had some exhibitions, a few matches with last week's event and this week's event.
For those of you joining us for the Predator World 10-ball, Jeremy and I and Jimmy White had the pleasure of commentating the Diamond Las Vegas Open 9-ball. And that was a treat because a lot of the players, in fact, most of the players from this event played in that. So we got to watch them here. And we had a couple of players, well, the ones that were first and second, put on an exhibition. What a schooling they gave us. Well, they gave me.
Oh, for sure.
Wow.
No, they played great. And it wasn't just them. I mean, there were
everybody.
some, they did it the most. Yeah. So that's something special. But there were many great matches played.
And we've had many already yesterday and today. I believe this is the Last match for the night will start tomorrow at, we start tomorrow at 10, don't we?
The matches do, but I believe
The live stream starts at noon.
At noon, yes.
Yeah.
It'll still be noon, 2:30, 5 o'clock, and 7:30.
Yeah, for the players, though, we start at 10 a.m.
Yeah, and then Thursday will take us into our single elimination round, and then Friday we'll have 2 semifinals and a final.
Mm-hmm.
Those will all be races to 10 in the single elimination.
Now, we scheduled the matches 2.5 hours apart in anticipation of having some matches that might go a little longer. But for the most part, these have they've been completed in an hour 15 minutes. Some have run the full time. Just a couple, really.
Yeah, and just shows you for the most part how well everyone's playing. And, you know, as the tournament goes, these guys need that little break. The guys on the loser side, they're going to have to, lost early matches are going to have to play quite a bit just to get to that final 16. So I think it's really a great schedule.
Yeah, because come Friday, we'll have 3 matches for you. 12, 3... 3:30 and 8 p.m.
And it's a great schedule as far as letting some of the rest of the world get to view this.
Sure. With the exception of, you know, that 8 p.m. match gets a little late for the, East Coast. But I'm sure that for a great match that they're going to have, it's worth staying up till 11 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Watching the match.
Well, now 2-1 and breaking the balls in the 4th game. And super solid so far. Missed the break a little bit on the, breaking just a hair from the left. Missed it on the right side in his opening break. Try to correct that.
He's looked good through the 2 racks that he controlled and won.
That's much better. A horrible kiss. Wow.
Well,
still didn't make one, though. Oh, no, he did make the 2 ball, yeah, and went down.
Now they've both gotten a bad kiss and a scratch.
Yeah, that was wicked.
Well, good opportunity for Fedor. Let's see what he does with this junior champion does.
And he's got him somewhat, the first 2 shots pretty easy. He has to get the cue ball over for the 4 and then stay tidy on the 5. You'll see the 6, 7 near each other.
This event is truly an international event. We have 10 American players, 7 Filipinos, 7 Chinese Taipei, 4 Japanese, 4 Polish, 3 Austrian, 2 Chinese. We have players from Peru, Argentina, Mexico, Estonia, New Zealand, Albania. Pretty international flavor. And we have a couple of them out.
He's gotten pretty nice on the 3. Come over for the 4. Just depends, but most likely play the 5 in the same side pocket a few shots from now. That'll carry him toward the 6 naturally.
Just stop it for the 5 and play it in the side, roll onto the 6?
I mean, I think so, yeah. I mean, no reason to move the cue ball when that's a pretty nice position there. The 6 goes in either hole, which you would like to go for the 6 in the lower pocket, but you got to be careful to where you're not bringing the cue ball into the 9. So there's a little concern there.
It's one of the concerns about playing shape for the side pocket. If you're not on the right line, you're going away from where you want to be.
Well, things quickly go awry, that's for sure. Not as much room for error as playing for the corners. Is he going right on top of the 6 here? Or is he going past it?
He's going right over. He had a nice line for it.
Got to have good speed, though.
Yeah.
And anytime you're coming up close on it, if speed's off a little bit, the angle becomes much more sharp quickly.
Straight over for the 8 in the same pocket, more than likely. Well, he might be able to hold it there.
Yeah, it's kind of preference. Me, myself, I'm very confident in holding the ball there. And I know I'm never overhitting it and getting like, you know, this shot here coming across on the slick table, you can overhit it and get on the rail easily. Okay, and he was aware of that. Nice shot.
Well, it seems Shane Van Boney's making the statement in his match over with Hunter Lombardo. He now leads 6-1. And Mario He leads 6-2 over Sandor Tot. And Federer is well on his way to tie this up.
Yeah, he's in a good position here. Real natural to come 2 rails right towards the 10.
He's studying that angle. That's a half ball hit. He's got to make sure he doesn't come into that side pocket coming from the head rail. Be unfortunate, but I've seen it done. He's got a little English to check way over. Very well done.
Yeah, both players real solid so far. A few unfortunate kisses on the break to get our match tied here at 2 apiece.
And we're back on break. Federer started out breaking. Score is tied. It'll be his break. The Argentinian from Mr. Casto is leading Daryl Appleton 3-1.
4-1 now.
4-1. He just okay. Hasn't updated the. And then Yukio is 3-1 over Ruben de Bautista from Mexico. Torsten Homan and Mr. Kaplan are tied at 2. Dominguez, that was leading 3-1, is now tied at 3s with Mati Canino. That's quite a name. Mati Canino. Wow. Mati Canino.
You got it.
Yeah, finally got it. You've pronounced that before, huh?
I don't believe so.
Kasper Mati Canino from Finland.
Oh, yeah. I know him, actually. Okay. Here to break in the game number 5. Fedor Gorst.
I like placing the cue ball just off center there in the center of the table for this 10 ball. Let's see where the 3 ball goes and 3 ball and the 9 ball. That 3 ball went way short. The 9 ball didn't even challenge the pocket on the side there.
He's made, no, he hasn't made one again.
No.
And that's what I was saying. He was really struggling with his break prior to the start of the match.
Well, I think you go with this this 1 ball and just avoid the 7 and come back up towards the 10. You should have a shot on the deuce. Am I crazy? Or do you just spin
You mean
over?
2 rails up, you
Yeah,
mean?
2 rails up.
Yeah, he's gonna try and get shape. That's for sure, and I think that's the path. He could heavy spin it, but I don't see that. Let it stroke out, and if he hits the 7, he could hold there too. Some bad things could happen, but it looks like he's hit it pretty close to perfect.
Ideal.
And he's not out of the woods, but one heck of a shot to get this 5th game started. Now he's going to have to draw the cue ball back in the position it's in now.
Just up to the 10?
Well, but I'm trying to really, with the 6 being there, it's hard to get shape on the 4. Go around the 6 perfectly. You're coming into a real small, shallow angle trying to get position on the 4. So maybe he shoots this, draws back, and then draws 1 rail over for the 4. Make sure that you get to the 3, though. And he got there.
And then some. He's not going to like where he got. Well, maybe.
Well, he was worried about a little bump on the 10. And that's what happens. You put a little more on it, you hit it pure, and you go right by that ball.
That's one of the cases where I don't mind bumping a ball as long as it's not going to get me in trouble. Stay to the left, it should be okay. I'm just going to draw up to it, and he's going to have to go back. I'd look for him to place it. He wants to go for this shot. I think the 9-ball might have a little piece of it, or he can rub it off the rail.
Well, I think it's clear. I think the 3 goes by the 10 and the 9, but he's got to have pretty nice speed going back and forth for position. I think the 4 maybe passes the 7. Yeah, the 3 goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this may tell me he's going to shoot this and try and come either 3 rails to the center of the table near the 7 for the 4, or back and forth with inside English. He could be just chipping this downward and playing safe, but I don't think so. Wow, look at this shot here.
Nice shot.
A little bump. Oh, no love. What a great shot. And really a nice speed on that, meaning the cue ball wasn't ever getting away from him.
Now, here's where I'm just looking for a shot. He could kind of nibble the 4 and try to get behind the 6. Or can he just come off the 4 ball just real thin to the left side and come back and stay behind the 5?
That one I think is more. No, I like that one much better. If he had looked at that, I think he would do that. The left side of the 4 is available, but the right side behind the 6 is very touchy. I didn't mind this shot either.
Oh, wow.
And I think he knew that the 4, even if he didn't get the snooker, wasn't going to be available with the 6 there.
The 6 there, yeah. That's good thinking there. That's why I sit here next to you, so you can tell me all these shots.
Well, I don't know if I would have hit it that well, but I kind of felt like coming backwards some kind of way might have been all right. But pretty smart shot there.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was.
And I'll tell you, he made the 3 ball look like a smart shot as well, as difficult as it was, just because the speed he could hit the cue ball. Like a lot of people really want to hit that type of cut with a lot more pace. And
I think he realized he's on a fast table, and was okay with just a little bit more than pocket speed, but not much more.
Okay, Fedor, at a young age, one of the best players in the world with the short cue. And this, you may see a trick shot here. You may see the 4 off the 8 with a high ball back in the lower right-hand corner. Because I think he got this in a funny spot to play safe. If you cut the 4 over and run the cue ball, I mean, you may get a little bit of a safety, but if you don't, you're going to be buried up behind the 9-10 or something like that on the next shot.
Mm-hmm. Well, Matt's
cross corner, maybe? What's wrong?
Matt asked the referee to take care of something, and both players are standing off to the side of the arena, and the referee walked over to the side. I can't see what. The referee is discussing something with John Lehman, our tournament referee, head of all the referees there, and both players looking rather attentive to see what comes out of that.
It didn't have something to do with the shot Fedor just made, did it?
I don't.
The jump shot?
Sure. Don't know. But Matt questioned the referee for something, and she's over either getting a ruling or clarifying whatever it was he questioned. I could not tell what it was. Well, Shane is still. Now he's ahead 7-1. Mario He is on the hill. It's 7-1. 7-3, excuse me. Darren Appleton is struggling. Down 1-5 against Mr. Ariel Castro from Argentina. He performed well in the 9-ball. He came in 4th. We have this match tied at 2.
I'm not sure what the situation is. I think it has something to do with the last shot. I think Matt Edwards is pointing at maybe like. Well, we're back in action.
Well, whatever it was has been resolved, and Matt is back at the table taking a look at something to do with his 4-ball. Jeremy feels he might play it to the right-hand corner pocket off the 8. It's
Well,
possible.
I'm not sure he knows that shot or sees it really right now, and I guess he's going to chip the 4 over and let the 4 in the middle of the end rail and try and go straight up the table for a safety. So, like I said, the problem is if you let him see any piece of this, most likely he's going to really be able to put something on you, like put you behind the 9-10, or it's not going to be good for you, even though he's shooting from a long ways away.
And he gave him the perfect path to get behind the 9-10.
Yeah, so I may have looked at the cross corner even on that with the 5 being over the side. I don't think he would have been that big of an underdog on the bank. Okay, ignore the 4. Make the proper hit to get behind the 9. Looks pretty nice. Well, it came out a little. Almost came out a bunch.
It didn't come out enough.
Well, I'll tell you now, if you're going to swerve at one, a carom shot on the 6, maybe it's going to throw the 6 to the side rail too much. But sometimes caroms lay where you can hit half the ball or quarter of the ball and you still make it. Not sure if he called something or if he called extension. All right, he's going to try and hit it full and float it.
Well, 9-ball moved, so. Fedor gets ball in hand. They're tied at 2. This is the 5th rack, so.
Why wouldn't he follow this ball into position? I always like to follow with ball in hand. Just he's going to draw it, it looks like. And he could shoot this easily in the other side pocket and just follow forward, and you're always going to be, I think, a little more accurate. You're never going to miss cue. And
especially with the draw shot. I mean,
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. I mean, he's great with it. And I'm just saying, overall, if you shot it 1,000 times, I think you're going to be a little better with the follow.
That's the youth of today, I think, because I think, in my opinion, the follow shot is always much more accurate than the draw shot.
Well,
position.
Well, yeah, you because you're normally running the ball, but when you have no question on making the ball, also like sometimes the draw gives you a better feeling on pocketing certain shots, and just like follow does. But yeah, with ball in hand, I always like to roll into position because I'm looking where I'm going as well, which makes me feel like I'm going to be more accurate. Okay.
Didn't put too much on that one.
Now it appears the 9 goes by the 10 up long. And there is a place just like kind of where the 7's at where you can cut the 9, but you don't want to contact the 10 from a thin cut on the 9. So maybe he plays it to open the 9-10 up a little bit more.
Well, unfortunately for Darren Appleton, he has been defeated 8-1. And since these were all one-loss side matches, the Predator World 10-ball will not be his tournament.
Oh, the inaugural winner.
The inaugural winner
of the World 10-ball.
Not this year.
No, 2008, I believe. Gotta watch hitting this 10 a little thin. Okay.
Like that?
Oh, man. Well, I never expect him to go into the 10 that hard. I thought he would hit it just hard enough to move the 10 out of the way and leave the cue ball. So when that happens, if you hit underneath it, you can slide to the side rail and get real steep on the 9 one way or another. But even worse, he got himself snookered. I didn't anticipate that happening.
Probably trying to kick the 9-ball past the 10 and maybe hold the cue ball there.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure he can do it with straight English. One's got to give one way or another, I think. He did pretty well there, though.
Rail first here.
Yeah, and
Looks like it. Yeah.
it's a funny shot because if you want to be the most accurate on the 9, the speed of the cue ball is just going to leave you a cross-side bank on the 10, which is fine. I mean, it's a shot you should make, so I'd probably go ahead and play position for the cross side because I think you're going to make the 9 at that speed a bit more often. And I don't mean super soft, but what, is he called a corner? Wow, he must not be able to get by the 10.
Yeah. Nice shot. The speed
Great
was
shot.
beautiful. Wow.
Great shot, and that's a nervy shot coming
Sure
2 rails and hitting it soft enough to stay behind the 10 because a lot of times you don't get a rail with the 9.
Exactly. That's just that could have easily, and that ball could have gone easily right straight down the rail and not caught it for a foul. But it caught the rail and came out. That would be applause for Shane Van Boning winning his match more than likely. Oh, actually, that was for Mario. Mario He wins his match, and Shane Van Boning both. Shane wins over Hunter Lombardo 8-1, and Mario He over Sandor Tot 8-4.
Well, Matt Edwards going to get a little bit of a cut shot on the 9, but one he should handle to get our 5th game and the lead again.
I like shooting this with inside English to get on the 10 for the same pocket. So does Matt.
And you could see by that he applied that right, but very conscious of the speed of the table, it seems to me.
Mm-hmm. Didn't want to go way down.
No.
Didn't want to come up short.
Oh, okay.
These pockets are still playing a little soft.
And I mean, it's just what you expect. Even, we've had, I believe these are probably 4.5. They might be
They're
4.
4.5.
They're 4.5.
They're
Okay.
just a shade. You can't get the balls inside the corners, but it's such a small, so maybe 4 7/16.
Gotcha. Well, even when we played at 4 1/4 on these tournament, the TV tables, just with the perfect conditions, they just play a little more generous.
And that seems to be the case here with the tables here.
And that would change even though, if say we were on the coast somewhere.
Sure, that might have been a touchy shot on the coast where it's humid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Especially even in a dry climate with this time of year with kind of just like a monsoon season in the southwest, and we get that monsoonal flow coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, brings a lot of humidity to the air. In fact, I saw it in the sky here this morning.
Well, I don't know if I'd refer to it as a monsoon.
It is. It really is. Not so much for Vegas, but down lower in Tucson, we get that same clockwise flow out of the Gulf of Mexico, and it comes through and brings the showers. Most of our rain in the desert comes through this flow, July through September.
He took a little off that one. Got the 9-4 rails though, and he's going to get a pretty good starter on the 1.
So you didn't know my second job was a weatherman?
Didn't know it.
Neither did I. I've actually lived in the Southwest all my life, so.
Okay, if the 2 passes, he's got a nice angle for the 1 in the corner to drop on the 2. Otherwise, it may be a 2-8 combo, which isn't bad either. He's just got to pay attention to it with the 7 being there.
It lays pretty nice for it if he's able to kind of just stun the cue ball right there.
Well, whichever way he shoots the 1 will tell you if the 2 goes or not.
Exactly. It passes.
Okay. He's going to have to elevate here, or he maybe go forward for a 3-8 combo.
I think he's close enough to it, and that it won't matter if he elevates too much. Won't matter too much. It always matters, but not too much in this particular instance. not up too high, so
Well, a little funny here.
he's elevated again.
He's got a little bit of an angle, and the 4 doesn't pass the 6 in the side. So, or at least I don't think it does. Oh, it's tight. It's close. It goes in the opposite side, but he'd have to roll it there. So you may have to draw past this 4. I'm not so sure he can afford to roll this. I think he's going to have to dig down on the cue ball.
Shoot it to the same corner.
Most likely, yeah. Well, what a sweet hit that was. And really, I thought he'd get more out of it than that. Still okay. It looks like he's on an angle just to guide the cue ball right between the 5 and 6. I wouldn't shoot this if it was tight. I'd probably play the corner. Probably, yeah. That's what he's looking at now. You don't coming across the ball, shooting it to the same side of the pocket. The ball wants to throw a little bit towards. I mean, it's an easy one to miss. I like just bearing down.
He's going for the corner. It appeared that way.
And like I said, I think it just brings the cue ball right between the 5-6 for the same corner for the 5-5 ball. Or the side.
Well, if he plays it in the side, he's going to have to be careful not to bump the 6.
Yeah, well, he's been elevated a couple shots already, digging down on the ball.
He's coming back in. He didn't bump the 6.
No,
he's good.
He's looked solid. He'll want to shoot this 7 with a little bit of an angle, probably somewhat near this rail, or punch it down a little bit. Don't want to be kind of straight. You want to be just chipping this 7 into the 8 and let the cue ball open up across the table. Okay, he decided to come behind it to do the same thing. But this one, actually, you can make both of them as well. But
yeah,
I like the other side a little better. Yeah. Should just be fine, but he did well.
This is pretty straightforward. Do you play this a little almost like rail first here and just slide down?
No.
You just want to?
No, he's going to play more of a center down the.
Okay, just come out that way.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt is now off to a 4-2 lead over Fedor Gorst. 31-year-old leading the 19-year-old from Russia. New Zealand at this point making a statement in this match. So far he's won his games 2 at a time. Fedor started breaking, so it'll be his break. These are 9-foot diamond tables. In case we had not mentioned it. We got Kaplan over Homan 4-3. Capito over Wu 5-1. And Mr. Dominguez is now trailing 4-6 to Mr. Maticaino.
Well, Oscar, another player that hadn't put in quite as many competitive rounds lately after taking over the place in Sacramento.
Yep. Have you been up there yet?
I haven't been up there since he's owned it. When I first went to that place, it was Great American Billiards some long time ago. That had to be 94, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I played Warren Costanza for about a week straight, the Monk.
Uh-huh.
Did you know him?
I actually played him in Tucson.
Yeah?
Yep. Played him some one pocket.
Yep. I played him a little bit of rotation pool, and then we played one pocket for many days in a row. Funny shot here now. The 10's gotten in the way. He's made it on the break, so that comes to the spot. It's not a win. Yeah, this is what I like, trying to really bury him up underneath the 3 and the 9. Lays the 2 over towards the 7. Yeah,
Did a good job.
Tough hit. If he can't get between the 3-9 here, he's going to have to arc the cue ball a little bit, I think, to get up underneath this 7 and get at that 2. Trying to think, is there something he can tie up that's productive?
I'd like to put that 3 ball, that 9 ball on top of the 3, but he can't.
Okay, he's going to move the 9
Into traffic.
into the 7 probably, and see if he can maybe get 2 balls rolling towards some congestion. All right, that's, well, not bad. I think he cut him off the offensive shot on the 2. So he'll probably get more of a kick shot than he got on the last one, you would think.
I think he's going to be right up against that 9 ball with the 2 ball being down on the bottom rail. No, he's going to go a different way.
No, he's just going to lay it up on top and leave it. But I think it still may offer some type of shot around the 10 or underneath the 10, coming a couple rails. I think, anyways. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, there's no.
Maybe not.
He might be able to spin down, hit the diamond. He can hit the center diamond, try to hit the bottom rail, and come up to the deuce.
Well, if he can get below the 10, he's got a chance for sure. In fact, he's not much of an underdog to not leave a shot. You can hit this hard or soft. Being on a foul, you may want to hit it a little more firm and take more chance there. Easy to miss the kick coming 2 rails. Oh, he hit it great. He hit it great.
And a return safe.
Wow. And that's 2 really nice kick safeties in some big moments. He had one earlier on the 9 ball where he kicked, and we thought he could have maybe not got a rail. Remember, on the side rail, the 9 and 10 on the table.
Yeah.
And then electing to go a little softer and very accurate here. And very intended, it looked like, on this 2 ball. Well, I'd like to bet on Fedor for this shot. It's crazy, huh? Oh. He scratched as well. Yep.
Yeah, that wasn't what he intended, not at all. Is Fedor on 2?
No, he was the one that played safe originally.
Played safe originally, right?
Okay, him playing this on the side tells me he's going to play with some angle on the 3, and maybe not. Maybe he'll get to where he'll draw back for the 3 to the 4, but yeah, that's fine. That's where I would have wanted to be, really. Especially if I'm going to play the 2 on the side, because he could have shot the 2 by the 9 in the corner and slid over to straight in pretty easily, rather than trying to run the cue ball to straight in on the 3. This is perfect. Just go 3 rails. With the path you have to take between the 7-10, it really offers a nice speed to hold a good line on the 4. Meaning he's not going to get on the wrong side of the 4. He's always going to be falling towards the 5, so that's nice.
That's perfect.
Yeah, real solid so far.
Well, I will say I've watched Matt play in a couple of the U.S. Opens, and he's playing a little better than I've watched him play in the past.
Well, I think as far as cueing, from what I'd always seen from Matt, that's pretty solid with that. It's just a matter of a little bit of mental game and learning the game. Obviously, probably played some English 8-ball or snooker at some time growing up.
We're down to 6 tables. Of the 8 that started, 2 matches are gone. Actually, we're down to 5. 3 matches are over. Ariel Castro. This looks pretty straightforward. Just a little come off the rail for the 7. Things look good for the 8-9. And stop shot on the 9 ball for the 10.
Yeah, and if you've fallen a little bit funny on this angle here, just go ahead and play for the angle on the 8 rather than trying to really hold the line on the cue ball and get it makes it missable. Sometimes you'll drive that ball into the what would be the right side rail point.
Even if he nibbles the 9 ball, he's going to come up by the rail and he's perfect. But he had plenty to come straight back.
And good stroke, real solid. And this is to go up 5-2. These 8, 9, and 10 here, and breaking the balls in the 8th game. So.
Matt's controlling this match.
And Fedor did make one mistake, but he had to play safe in a few situations, and Matt has displayed some really great kick shots.
Very controlled, great speed, aware of the angle, the speed of the ball. Nice play. This is on the 1-loss side. The winner of this match, well, I guess we don't have an opponent for the winner of this match yet, do we? Not on that side. The winner will play Joshua Filler.
Josh,
12:30 tomorrow.
Johan Chua played a real nice match against him earlier.
Yeah. Did he zip him? 8-0?
No. I know Josh got at least one game. I think I had left when it was 7-1.
Okay. Well, Matt to break the balls here, trying to get to the hill in this race to 8. 13 world champions here at the Rio, walking around. It's been an amateur's dream come true. They take pictures with all the pros. They walk up and shake their hands. They get to watch them play. I mean, how often can you watch 2 Hall of Famers, 58-year-old and a 50-year-old, play on the stream table?
Be interesting to see if he can get at this 2 enough to pocket it in the lower right-hand corner by the 4. I think he can. And it'd probably lead him to a victory here in this game, really, and get him to the hill. So a big shot on this 2. I think he can get at it, George. Just level the cue out and come down for the 4.
Cue ball falls in place for position on the 4. 5 balls available for the side or the corner. And the toughest thing would be getting on the 7. If there's a tough thing there, it's not really. Just get up close to where the 5 is now on the side pocket there, and you're there.
Yeah, no scratch involved, I don't think. So go ahead, don't baby it too much. Go ahead and let your stroke out a bit. That way you get good, clean contact.
Good angle of the ball coming into the
yeah.
pocket. Right in the, almost right in the center. I thought it was in the center.
Pretty darn good. And this is where you better not mind shooting the 5 in the corner, maybe.
Just come straight up the rail.
Yeah, and again, it's all about having a little angle because the 6 is accessible in the upper left and the side pocket. So you don't need you just need a half an inch of angle to really be nice, and you can still get back for the 7. I think it can be dangerous trying to move this up for the side pocket. Now I would just kind of flick it in and sacrifice some distance on the 5 to make sure I laid on the rail with the cue ball, I think. And if you happen to get straight, you can still do it from a few different places. You can stop your ball and shoot right over the side pocket at the 6. You could go forward and take a cut shot on the 6 on the side, which offers position. But I think moving for the side pocket can get a little dangerous here.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Whoa, I don't like that part of it, though.
And that's just by trying to get closer to that 5 ball. He's played well. He's made every long shot. I mean, he could have just rolled the 4 in it with a little bit of left English and gotten, a little above the first diamond, and that shot's not tough at all. So now faced with either a bank shot, I think he'll probably slide the cue ball behind the 7-8, maybe 3-rail the 5 behind the 6, something like that. I mean, maybe going for it. But he's played some nice tactical shots, so I think that's a pretty accurate play. I mean, easy to be accurate is what I mean.
Sure.
Now, did he not snooker him? He had to,
He looks
right?
fully snookered.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 6 ball's got him completely blocked. He's got an easy 2-rail kick to the 5. Maybe call it in the side.
And I'll tell you, pretty impressed with Matt Edwards right there, keeping his composure, meaning you could easily say, I'm up 5-2. Let me try and get to 6 with this cross-corner bank after I miss position. Maybe I get safe with it as well. It banks short. I draw over here. He just went ahead and said, hey, I got to play safe. Let me execute. And I got a little the best of it.
Kind of like a one-pocket mentality.
Well, just a mature mentality, yeah. Okay, that's got to go, yeah. And the reason why that ended up short, I think he really intended on a little bit thinner hit on the 5 where the cue ball would probably get over that rail. But now the one thing he did reposition that 7 a little bit, or the 8, one of them. It's a little tighter playing position now.
That's when Matt played safe. That's exactly what he did. He pushed the 7 ball over. So now he's going to want to play it to the upper pocket. Although I think he just looked at playing it, leaving the cue ball against the rail.
And making sure that's available.
Yep.
And I think he just can't handle straight in. That's the one that's killer, and he almost got there. And he almost got to the point to where he may have to draw by the 7.
Yeah, into the rail and come
yeah,
out
and
for
come
the upper
out.
pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the angle he's on.
Yeah, otherwise he's forcing his ball and yeah, that's what he's looking at now. What if I drew by this ball to the back rail? Ball draws nice. Almost easier to control that than it is the punch.
It really does draw real nice here. There he did. That's exactly what he did.
Is that enough? Yes, it is.
Oh, he did it beautifully.
Yeah. And real controlled, trusting the speed probably as much as anybody I've seen on this table. Even the guys that played really well, they still were real aware of the speed of the table. And
that's a real good point. It really is.
Okay, used every bit of the pocket there.
Gave himself an angle to come 2 rails for the 10, maybe 3, and play the 10 ball in the right-hand corner pocket.
Yeah, and a lot of pressure now on a young Fedor Gorst.
Perfect speed, and he'll take a 6-2 lead. He's won the last 4 games in a row. Fedor won his game, and then Matt won 2. Fedor had 1, and now he's won 4 in a row.
Looks like Fedor's going to take a timeout.
So during that timeout, we'll see where we are with the rest of the players here. There's only 4 games going right now. 5 with this one. Yukio is 6-3 over De Bautista. Kaplan over Homan, 6-3 this time. Capito over Wu, 5-2. Matikaino, 6-5 over Dominguez. So the finish.
Finish, that's correct.
With the Mexican from California. Oscar Dominguez, owner of Hard Times Sacramento.
Yeah, these are one-loss side matches.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so whoever gets beat here is out. And let's see who has already ended their tournament life. We've had a couple. I know Roberto Gomez is out. So is James Aranas. So is Fabio Rizzi from France. And so is Fan Yang from China, our Chinese 8-ball player.
He's out as well?
He's out.
Wow, he
was
started
just
off
taking
well
on the stream
earlier.
match. He
Yeah.
was just taking on the stream match. He was leading the match. Actually, I was commentating the match. He was leading. I had to leave, and Jimmy finished that up. And Raymond came back and won Hill 8-7.
Well, Raymond's steady and tough, I'll tell you that. Good young player.
But the surprise here is James Aranas being out. Hot player from the Philippines, Roberto Gomez, is out. Mishko Fortunsky, who played so well in the 9-ball, is out. Tone Gwynn is out. Eklund Kachi is out.
I don't believe he can see the one, or not enough to make it. And not much as far as being able to play safe if he can just see a little piece either. So probably a jump cue, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he can kick to the bottom rail and come across the ball. Try to play safe. Maybe get the one down table and let the cue ball maybe come back up towards the 2. Something like that. He's played some nifty ones, I'll tell you. Hit that great as well.
Wow.
So giving Fedor no air.
Well, he's going to have to kick it. I want to kick it, hit it kind of about half ball hit, and maybe try to stay behind the 10-4.
And well, he's looking to see if he can get at it. And
oh, I see between the 6. Wow.
It'd be an awfully thin hit to not scratch. Coming across the ball here, this is really tough, and you can't let up on it. You got to get through that cut shot, not to scratch. He babies it. Well, he did pretty well. Not going to get the reward, or is he?
Yes,
he is.
Yes,
Great
he
shot.
is. That last little bit.
Man, that was a tough one to pull the trigger on, that type of shot there.
Yeah. You know what made that shot possible is that new felt bed on the table. Just kept right on going.
Okay, he's going to go 2 rails again. We've seen again many nice ones from Matt Edwards as far as the rail first shots. They'll want to come across that one most likely. The thing is, if he can hit the extreme or either side, underneath or on the top. Now, oh, top one.
Missed it.
Missed it.
Missed it completely. But that 5-7-8 doesn't make this a straightforward run, so we'll see how Fedor handles the remaining 10 balls. There's only 10 balls up there, right? 6. Yes, there is.
Yeah, he broke dry.
Yeah.
Kind of missed the break a little bit. Gonna come one rail. I'm surprised he's using his extension here on this first shot. And there's some other situations going on with a 5-7-8 and what's going to be the 6 later on. It could be develop into a situation. So interesting to use your extension in a ball in hand situation like this. I believe the 5-7 plays, but the thing is, what's the 5 going to do? Is it going to allow, after you make the 5-7, is it not going to be obstructed by the 8 some kind of way to continue the run? And he got flat here too. This is not what he wanted, I don't believe.
You know, I was thinking that when he played the 2 ball, there was a possibility he might choose to maybe move the 8 by going 2 rails into it, being straight in on the 3. But that's risky too, because you can get behind balls.
Yeah, you can get behind balls or elevated where you can't shoot the 3 and get to the 4. He's got to have good speed here because the 4, I don't think, goes by the 6. Now, is that enough or is that dead behind the 9?
It's dead behind the 9.
And you could see right when he hit it, he just knew it was trouble.
Wow. He's struggling a little bit this match.
Well,
he's been struggling.
He'll tell you himself he's been struggling a little bit the last few months. He's had some great results throughout the year, and we talk about these great players struggling. It's not a bunch.
No.
But, you know. And
for his level, he's struggling.
Yeah, and even if you're playing races to 13, 15, 11, you make a mistake or two, you're going to get beat most likely, especially the big mistakes. Now, that's a nice shot. Is it going to creep?
Oh.
Okay, a jump cue. It's gotten over the side. Matt Edwards kicks like a genius. Oh, he's froze on this 6 almost. So I don't know if he has the jump just because of where the 6 is located. And he doesn't have the bottom rail for the kick either.
No, he might not have the side rail if he's froze on the 6.
Yeah, you're right. Well, you couldn't have placed that any better. He could curve it, though. He can curve on the right side of the cue ball. Yeah, this is, I don't know, can he get to where he needs to get with the Q-tip, with the 6 being there?
We're going to find out. And
I don't think so. I think he's going to either foul or go right into the 10 with the cue ball.
If I'm Fedor, I'm asking for a referee.
You're right about that. Which I bet if Matt fouls, there won't be no question about it. Wow, he got it there easily.
Wow. That's some nice cueing to be able to get that ball out right there and not touch the 6 ball and jump the ball.
Pretty confident.
He's he doesn't mind using the jump cue, that's for darn sure.
And Fedor, just depending on where he gets on this 5-7, he's going to have to probably kind of ease the combination in a bit to hold the 5 clean to where the 8's not going to be a problem. Again, I don't think the speed's what he wants.
Yeah, he's got a shot on the 7.
Yeah.
As long as it clears the 8, it seems to, appears to. Because he looked at it before he lined up for it.
Oh, for sure it goes, but and he can. The sweet way to shoot this is use a little bit of the rail. That way you can hit the 7 just a hair thicker with the 5. It's a little bit of a nervy way to shoot it, but we've seen the ball slide in. Like that.
Just like that.
Yeah. Another touchy shot with the 9 being there. If the 9's not there, this shot is very routine, coming 2 rails back and forth. But now he's got to be concerned about the speed. Looks nice.
Back and forth. Now he's just got to come up. Up the back rail. Well, Oscar's got himself in a, he's all tied up.
That's good.
Matikainen. That's a tough name to say. much a corner pocket for the 9, or do you come back for the side?
I don't mind the corner, but I don't mind the side here either. It looks real natural just to come, and you'll stay on the good side of it for sure. I mean, speed should have been pretty well there, I think. Looks a little more settled these last several balls.
Well, when they're out in the open like this, you know, kind of just a little bit easier, you think?
Oh, for sure.
And this will be still in the dry spell. Matt won 4 games in a row. And this will bring the score to 6-3. So Matt will be up breaking the balls, trying to get to the hill, which is 7. This is a race to 8. Keep in mind, the last 16 players left, well, there will be a redraw, and they'll be racing to 10 for single elimination. Until then, it's still double elimination. So, but these guys are on the 1-loss side. So the loser here goes, well, home, I guess. Or do you stay in Vegas and have a good time?
Well, they won't be going anywhere. Enjoy Vegas. They'll probably want to watch the tournament.
And they might stick around an extra 10 days and play in the U.S. Open in August.
Yeah, you're right.
We got the August U.S. Open coming up, August 8th through the 13th. U.S. Open 10 ball, 3 days, and then 3 days of the U.S. Open 8 ball. CSI presents those also. So CueSports International has had a busy summer, very busy summer. In May, they had 3 U.S. Opens. At the end of May, the bank pool, straight pool, and 1 pocket. Then they had the Diamond Las Vegas Open, and they're presenting the Predator World 10 ball.
Okay. Track the 1 nicely. The 2's coming up as well. He's going to get a decent starter on the 2, and really not bad at all because he can draw the cue ball over 1 rail, and the 3 goes in the lower left.
We are at the Rio All Suites and Hotel during the BCAPL World Championships and the USAPL National Championships. So we have all types of players in this pavilion and 2 other ballrooms. There's 330 tables set up.
Okay, he's going with high English. He's going to go around 3 rails for the 3 in the side. Makes the 2 a hair more missable, but nothing wrong with this if he hits it well. And that's why I kind of just like drawing 1 row over for the short side on the 3. Just because of that first shots, in my opinion, was a little easier, but you know, it's all what you like.
I kind of like bringing the cue ball towards the side pocket here and shooting the 3 ball where he's standing.
Well, that's the position I thought Matt should have played.
Yeah, he came out also for the side pocket.
Yeah, but now he's super thin. And that was another one that if you put too much speed, you see it kind of like it turned over, kind of a little hydraulic we talked about, and actually slows the cue ball down. Anytime that ball's hanging, a lot of times you got to come out a little cleaner with the cue ball and a little lighter to get it to go down the table. I know it doesn't make much sense, but it's the truth. Okay, just taking the safety. And the one thing about it, when you play a certain type of player, or even here in a short race, but Matt's kicked at the ball for the most part really well, it kind of makes you not want to play safe so much, or a la an Efren Reyes, you always seem to not want to get into some kind of kicking battle with him.
Some of the sponsors there, Omega, Predator. Well, Akagariyama Yukio has defeated Ruben De Bautista 8-3. So there goes another casualty from the tournament. These are all players you would never expect in any kind of other tournament to go 2-0.
Well,
but in this field,
okay, he's
just
trying to put him on the 10, and he
almost.
got the 3 up.
Yeah, his kick shots have been very controlled.
Well, definitely a snooker player, or at some time or another, I think, was start with the snooker. That it's funny. Played some pool with Steve Davis years ago, and you wouldn't believe how much of a magician the snooker players are when it comes to the kick shots. And that's not all the kick shot. There's certain pool shots that are a little more foreign to him, but for the most part, pretty crafty. He's kind of get another one here, most likely.
Kind of along the same lines as somebody that plays strictly one pocket. Their cue ball control and their defense is just much stronger than your average 10-ball player, I would think.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, and some creative shots, that's for sure. But the one thing is, like, the 9-ball players clip the ball from distance and run the cue ball better, things like that. So it goes both ways. Just the certain types of shots is what makes it one person better than the next, for the most part. Oh, and he's going to get a snooker here, I believe.
Yes, he did with the 10-ball there.
Somewhat, anyways. Now, can he double kiss off the top of this 3 and get at the 4 with the cue ball, maybe? Try and get a look at that.
I can't tell if he can get to it.
Yeah, he can get to it.
Oh, he can. I can see it now from here.
Yeah, now this is a tricky shot, though, with the 3 being frozen. And you're going into the face of it. Very hard to totally predict, meaning if he's trying to play the 4, is he trying to shove the 3 into the rail and off the back of the 4 in the pocket?
That's what it looks like he's aiming at. That's exactly what he's aiming at.
Okay.
It's going to be a little rough because
I'm not sure what he called, though.
He's got to be calling the 3-ball here.
Yeah, he didn't think with the slick cloth there was much of any chance of that ball hanging.
No, but it was, if you noticed, it was kind of spinning the opposite way. Just when it hit the pocket, that's what kept it out.
Well, I think he's got to swerve this just a touch, and he may not be able to get the cue ball out.
Is it pretty deep?
Very deep, and it's on the wrong side. Yeah, this is touchy. Yeah. If he could just get anywhere between the 6-7 with the cue ball, he'd love it.
Yeah,
that's
the danger when they're in that deep. Either you do that or you follow it in.
Yeah, always tricky.
Over. Yep. That shelf in the pockets on these diamond tables is pretty deep. It'll hide the ball. And
looks like he's going to draw this ball out between the 6-10.
Torsten Homan has just been defeated
by a Polish player, probably.
Kaplan. Tomasz Kaplan, Polish player.
Yeah,
exactly.
I thought so. I was going to say, I think he's Polish too. Big game here at 6-3. Gets these taken care of, which shouldn't be a problem. He'll be breaking in our 11th game. Looking to really apply some pressure. If he can get that one, cut it to 6-5.
Gave himself a nice angle on the 9 to come down for the 10.
No, it's kind of choice here. If you want to catch the second rail, that's fine. I kind of like that usually, but just be aware it's easy with the Little English to fall below the 10 doing that. So if you just float one rail, that's all right as well. Okay, he liked it.
As long as you can control that by the side pocket, life is good. Although, like you said, if he comes down and hits a little too hard, he's looking at a back cut.
Yeah, and when you involve that second rail, sometimes you hit at the speed you lay on that second rail, and then that shot becomes a hair missable.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, he was in full control and on to 6-4 now.
6-4, and he will be breaking the balls. He started out.
Well, what happened to the Dominguez match? That was 7-6 a minute, just a second ago.
Wow. Missed it. Well, if it was a second ago, I would think that.
It's on the opposite side.
Matikainen, Casper, defeated Oscar, if that's the case. We'll have to check that. As they rack the balls. Fedor to break the balls, trailing 4-6. So the Russian playing the New Zealander in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Rio.
Yeah, Fedor from Moscow. Went there last year and got to spend some time with him. Good kid.
Wonder if he's enjoying the warm weather here in Las Vegas.
Well, I mean, it's, even if you like warm weather, it can be a little excessive, but I'm sure he is.
Just going to slow roll this to the rail and come off a little bit.
Yeah, wants to gain a little angle on the two.
He's got to come up for the 4-ball. In the side, more than likely. Had the line of it. He had the skew stick on the line of the ball coming off the back rail. I don't think he'll go to the back rail, but he might.
He's a little heavier than he probably would have liked, but I think he'll just, like you said, just come 2 rails. Yeah.
In line for the 7. Yeah, just like that.
Needs a little bit on it.
Just a little.
Not bad.
Is he almost better off banking this ball here? He's actually called the bank.
Yeah, he's called the bank just because maybe it's going into the 6 with the cue ball.
Well, it's going away from the 5 coming off that rail unless he spins it a lot. So that's why I thought he might be a little better off banking it. He's called for an extension, wants to look it over some more. Originally called it in the cross bank. And that appears to be the way he's aiming it too.
Nice shot, yeah.
Straight across for the 6th ball. There's no reason to try to come up close to it and risk going in the side pocket. I don't even think he'll go that far over. Probably try to get back where he's at right now.
And it just kind of depends. If he wants to catch that second rail, he'll put a little oomph on it to make sure he stays clear of that side and get a nice 10 or 12 inch bounce. Okay, he's going to lay straight because he actually even a little underneath it, but he's good. Wasn't a whole lot of bad places for that 6.
Wasn't. I'm very careful about coming across that side there, and I think a lot of players should be, because that side pocket plays big.
Oh yeah.
Get a little excited and you put a little something on that ball, and all of a sudden you're sitting there going, how could I do that? So
Well, big spot here now, and definitely a more comfortable Fedor than we saw at the beginning of the match.
I think if he shoots these two balls like this 100 times, he makes them 99. What do you think? Or
Yeah.
100?
I think probably all 100 if
Yeah.
he's really trying.
Made a match out of it. We're now up to 5-6. Matt Edwards will be breaking the balls. Wanting to get on the hill. Successful break and clearance. He gets them on the hill. Which means he'll get a break. Get to try to break and run once. We'll start tomorrow at 12 noon for the live stream. Players will get started a little earlier than that. Let me make sure that's right. 12:30, I believe. No, it's 12. 12 p.m. So we'll live stream matches 12, 2:30, 5, and 7:30. Join us here on YouTube.com CSI Pool. If you have questions about the World 10 Ball, go to world10ball.com. You can see the players list. Go to CTS on demand for the bracket and for the on live scoring. It's dry so far.
And some big turns of events here in our last match of day 2.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a big turn of event on the match preceding this one.
Yeah,
Where,
with Ferrone and Yang.
And Yang.
Okay. He's not going to get fooled by this carom shot. I think he's going to knock the 1 around and try and bring the cue ball. I would knock the 1 around below the 10. I think he can, and hold the cue ball kind of with a little top English behind the 5, maybe? Is that not? I think that's pretty doable on the slick felt.
Bank it towards the same side pocket there so it goes, and then bring the cue ball over behind the 5. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Especially with a lot of balls there, I think, anyways. It's a little touchy, but.
If he catches the corner, it can go around the corner of the side pocket.
Yeah, but see how you can slow it down?
Yep.
The cue ball with a little bit of that hug. Real nice speed on the 1 as well. And, man, cut him off pretty good on the kick shot here.
Yeah, tucked him in behind the 5. So.
Yeah, he may have to kick up. Okay, immediately going to the jump cue. Okay, so I thought the 10 was a little in the way as well, but it's not. He may be able to bank this 1 around. Don't think he's going for the make.
Looks like he's going to try to hold it behind the 8-10.
Right.
Oh, he clipped the 8 ball going in. We could be tied up.
Oh, he's got a lot of work. That's for sure. This rack's got some congestion. And let me think here.
He's going 1-9.
Yeah.
He'll have to go 2-3.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I like shooting the 1 and coming.
Side?
No, shooting in this top corner and coming straight down the table by the 4, shooting it by the 4. If he doesn't get much angle here.
He's created a good angle to come to the
but still, it's very, very touchy. Maybe he can come inside English 2 rails and play the 2 by the 4 in the side.
Correct. That's exactly what I thought he meant. That's what it's laying for. It's laying real nice for that shot that you just explained. Just forward 2 rails.
Yeah, speed's crucial,
just
though.
Just like that, he's going to hit the 2.
Speed's crucial.
No,
okay.
Oh, he's okay.
Now
actually,
the 3 goes up long, so he may have to look at that. And he can go forward. Wow, he got full enough on the 2. He can go forward. It looks like to me
Looks
the
like
cue
it.
ball is going towards the 8 here. And well, the overhead tells me maybe he can go by the 8. But to go all the way over and back.
Yeah, he could also draw it and play the 3 ball in the right-hand corner pocket as we look at the screen.
Okay, this is what I was worried about. Is it going to be enough?
Wow.
Yeah. So I think he flirted. I might have just pinched that one and played the 3 up long behind the 5.
Exactly.
He could have just drew right between the 3-8 and had a nice shot on the 3, and then the 4 real easy. But feeling a lot better about himself to take on that type of shot in this situation.
Yeah. That's a pretty confident stroke. Rather confident stroke. Well, this opened up pretty nice. And Matt, who's been leading the whole way after that 4-game streak, is about to give up 4 games of his own to tie it up.
Yeah. Put us back in order as far as the break's concerned, and Fedor will be breaking off in the next.
So he could get to the hill before Matt. What a time to come with four of your own games when you're trailing 6-2. All he has to do is complete these. The run out on these balls.
Really solid young player. And,
Not bad for a 19-year-old.
well, of course, yeah. Not bad, period. But both players have played great.
Yes.
There was a few errors, but not many, and some stellar shots as well.
We've seen some nice runouts. We saw a great safety battle early on.
Well, we've seen some matches get away by the score you would think weren't too competitive. But not this one. A nice comeback to get back in this match. He's gonna wonder, how do I want to break him, though? He's had some issues breaking, as far as a little bit of a mishit once. Got an unfortunate kiss on a scratch once. But had a dry break a time or two as well.
Let's see who our world title players are while she racks the balls. We had Filler, Beato, Fayen, Coe, Gorst, Ocean, Suke, Pagalion, Appleton, Strickland, Homan, Yukio. It's quite a few players.
Oh, yeah.
With world titles. 64. 16 came in here by their world ranking, WPA world ranking. We had 15 qualifiers. Actually, yeah, we had 15 qualifiers. 18 qualifiers, because on the 15th qualifying tournament, they qualified 3 on Sunday.
Wow.
We had some come via BCA. We had some come via APBU. So, international field, 64 players. Has Matt stepped out of the arena?
Yes, he has. He's on a short timeout.
Well, we got a decent crowd for this match watching. Things have cleared out on the side tables. I believe all but 2 matches on table. This one and the one on table number 5 still going. Looks like that one's done. No, they're still going over there. 7-4. Ronnie Capito over Kunlin Wu, leading Sale 7-4.
Okay, Edwards back in the
Arena.
Yeah.
I like the way this arena is set up. It looks like 2 gladiators coming in to bunch it out, or a boxing ring. Boxers trading punches on the pool table.
It's going to the closed bridge, so that tells me he's not going to be hitting them too lightly. There's going to be a pretty firm pop here. Usually breaks them really well. Struggled not so much with the hit as much as just results. And he's going to get the 9-4 rails, and he's going to get the 7-4 rails, and he's going to get a cross-side bank. Did the 2 open up?
Half a pocket, it looks like.
Man, if he wanted to hit it lightly, it's a pretty big pocket. Problem is, how do you hold position if you want to hit the bank lightly?
Especially if it nibbles off the deuce and goes in. I like playing safe behind the 4.
Let the one just come up beyond the
Be
3 a little bit.
Right. Yeah, just let the 3. So you have the 3 and the 4. And 4 lays into place where I would say it's, I don't want to say it's easy to get there. It should be controllable, but still coming across the table. It's a speed shot too.
And there's a little gap there with the 3 and the 8 as far as where you're putting the 1, but we talked about it last week. We'll talk about it this week. We'll talk about it next week. That these great players want to be aggressive, and what a shot here to start our 13th game.
I think Jeremy's getting the idea that I'm a little gun shy in shooting shots. I'd rather duck.
Well, it's happened a few times. I remember some tournaments, some big events to where a player that was a little more of a tactical player on the pro level, and things worked out for them that week and got through it. But most of the time, you're going to have to shoot your way through these types of fields. Now he's gotten funny here. He may have to let the stroke out and come 3 rails around the table.
Well, the 5 goes to either side, I believe.
And he's looking at top inside English. And one thing about this top inside is if you miss it to the pocket, you can still make the ball, but if you don't hit it exactly how you want, well, you don't hit the piece of the rail you want, you may not get as much English, and the 8 may come into play. Now this is pretty steep, so he's going to need a bunch of left spin. He's overcut it. Yeah. And sometimes you just, I don't know, it's not your conscious doing it, that's for sure. And I don't know if it's your subconscious, but just to help the cue ball movement, occasionally you try to get to the certain side of the pocket on the 3, and it can lead to a miss, and it's done it here. Like overcutting that helped the path of the cue ball a little bit.
Now that inside English, especially with the low deflection shafts, you've got to be used to your shaft.
That's short. May double bank, but oh man, what a funny spot that's gotten left. Man, I don't know if that's cuttable in the side or not. It's real close.
And it looks like if he goes to bank it, it's such a tough shot.
Okay, so he's going to try and cross this 3 over using the 5-10, I believe. Let the cue ball just kind of float towards this lower left-hand corner pocket if you're looking at your monitor. Delicate shot, and there's some gaps there on the 5 and 10. Okay, pretty nice. I mean, You left the bank, but the 4's on the other end. So the main thing there was don't lose the cue ball.
Bank and come around.
It looks too straight to me. I think you're forcing the issue. He's already missed one cross side, and he's played some really nice safety and kick shots. So I think it's either put the cue ball behind the 4 coming off the right side of the 3 or behind the 10. I kind of like behind the 4 a little bit better, but I think it's a little more devastating, and it's got to go. This is what I would have been worried about. If I did leave him a look at the 3, now getting position to the 4 is much easier.
Sure.
If I go behind the 4 with the cue ball, he's coming off the end rail even and a long ways away and on the wrong side of the table. But, I mean, that, you know, in hindsight also, though, he probably felt like, and I feel like he should have probably executed the choice he made. Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong.
There wasn't
just
nothing.
Didn't quite
just
get
didn't
there.
get there. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't argue with success, but at the same time,
Oh, my.
You can argue with that, though.
Yeah.
That might have been, he may not have been 100% sure he could go by the 5, but the way you hit that ball, he sure thought he could. Because you hit it aggressive.
Yeah, and he didn't take a ton of time.
No.
Even though I think he's already used his extension this game, so.
I thought he used it on the first, wasn't it the first shot?
I believe so.
First or second.
It's like, can he kill this? I don't think he can get around the 5-10. I don't think he can get enough of the 3 to draw with right English and get around it. I think he's got to float this with a bunch of inside. Maybe get back over for a cut on the 4 in the same hole.
Trying to see if he can. Wow, this is a tough shot. He's trying to hold it, I think.
I think he's coming across. Just take what he could get. Okay.
He'd be right behind the 8 ball, almost. Well, now I think he looks to get behind the 6.
Yeah. Still touchy, though.
Yeah, no, it is. But
and you got to have a good line on that. It's not like it's just a diamond up. That's like 2 diamonds up or so. Oh, he's called the bank, and now you'll call the shot sometimes even though you're still playing safe. But
right, just in case it happens to go, because he might be playing a 2-way behind the 5 and have the 5 straight into the same pocket.
Oh, it looks like he hit it perfect to me. Wow, what a shot.
Just that. Big shot. Looks like he's straight in for the 5 ball.
Yeah, I don't think he can just level out either. He may involve the 10, and he doesn't want to get much further away from the 6. So the back of its cue may be going up in the air a bit.
Yes. It's coming back.
And that's good enough on the 6. He's going to get off the rail nicely for the 8. Shouldn't err from here and be breaking the balls at 7-6.
Oh.
Yeah.
He might have been wanting to go forward or backwards just a little bit there.
Yeah, I think backwards was the ticket, just 2 or 3 inches. And
nice CSI covers on the chairs out there. A little advertising from CueSports International, you think?
oh, maybe.
Oh, missed that one.
Big miss.
Well, this is going to be a shot. That was big for him. If he can get on the hill first, he'll get the break to win the match. Now Federer will get to break to win the match. First, he'll get the break first.
Yeah, looking for 5 in a row after trailing 6-2 in most of them were just some nice outs and some great plays, some safeties that got him ball in hand, and a dry break by Matt Edwards. But now a bit of an error here. And
yeah. And then that big miss right there. And he does it 5 in a row after trailing 6-2. And he's on the hill. Matt will get the break at 6-7. He needs this game, because if he loses this game, he's done. If he wins this game, his opponent still gets the break to take control of the hill game. Ronnie Capito over Kunlin Wu has defeated him 8-4. So now we're just waiting on this match, and we're in the final stages. You can get it exciting if Matt's able to complete a break and run here. And we'll go to the hill. Both players are playing for the tournament life here. Young man, 31-year-old from New Zealand, breaking the balls. 19-year-old from Russia, from Moscow. Rearing to go.
okay. Don't hear anything down yet. The
Fine
9's
ball.
falling. Now what's the 8 gonna do?
It's going to say, I'm going to make it interesting.
Yeah, nothing easy for you, Matt Edwards, is what
Really?
it's saying in many languages right now. Another tough proposition. It's got a little bit more of a clip, but you don't want to roll out to where it's just impossible to shoot the shot. You're going to get it given back easily. Again, it's usually one or the other. When you can only roll out to a certain half of the ball, that's usually really cold-blooded and blatant that you're never going to get it back to where you put the cue ball, or you're always going to get it back, depending on where you.
He's given up a cut on this shot.
Yeah.
Isn't this almost?
Well, he can cue down on this, right, and play safe behind the 8 somehow.
He could. I kind of like going for it. It's a two-way shot. You can get shape on the deuce, even though there's a gap between the 2 and the 6, and the 6 and the 3. There's balls to protect the one ball on the right side.
Okay. One thing about that banking it away shot that's a little alarming is where's the one going? Is it going into the piece of the 3 that might come down towards this left corner where he's standing now and sell out? Most likely you're going to be okay. It could go in and you could have a problem. Not have a shot on the 2. And this is the one I would have worried about.
Yep.
Yeah, coming off that ball and selling out somewhere. But still, I think he's got to shoot it. He's just, for a top player, real easy to contain the cue ball behind the 8 and just take his chance there.
Sure. He's tied up the 4 ball.
Well, lucky for Fedor, he has done that. But I think there's a carom shot on the 10. Now it's not a winner, but could at least put Matt in position to continue the run. That get there?
Barely. Barely.
I believe the carom does go. Looking at it, holding position on the 4.
Yeah, have to shoot that carom with a little draw and come back for the 4.
Maybe.
Follow.
I think you can do it with follow with a little touch of inside English as well. Now, is this 2 going to get on the end rail? That's a huge mistake if it does. And a big chance. Took a big chance. I understand him wanting to move the 7 just to open things up for the 4 later. Get in position on that carom shot. But had to make sure he wasn't going to lose the 2, and he didn't. So he's okay.
I'm wondering if he's considering moving the 4 here. I think
well,
I like your carom shot. I like your
yeah,
carom
with
shot.
the 3 so far away, I don't think you're going to try and get into the 4 now, but he may on the next shot. Oh,
Next
my.
shot. Ooh. Yeah. Wow. Played so strong through the 4-game streak, even before that, in the middle there, when he won those 2 games in a row, when he won game 2 and 3.
Couldn't agree
with the
more.
safeties. Yeah. And then this last 2 games have a little bit of a letdown.
Well, his runouts, they were nice as well. Just really solid all the way around. Broke the balls pretty well.
He's played a good match. He's just missed at the wrong time. Well, he's just missed. I'm not sure if there's ever a right time to miss.
Not hanging out with this crowd, that's for sure. Bunch of cold-blooded killers right here as far as 9-ball, 10-ball pool's concerned.
Yes, there are.
Okay, I think he's gotten perfect. Now he's just going to have to shoot this from a little distance. Now the problem is I really think he does need a bit of inside to make the 10. Or at least to make it feel good about how to shoot it to a little more guarantee on the 10. And if the 4 crosses over to the end rail, the cue ball could check up and come up a little bit and leave him too thin of a cut shot.
Yeah, it's tough.
So it's gonna be a subtle little carom shot, and it's gonna most likely be a light speed. Oh wow, okay.
He did go into it.
Wow, pretty nervy shot, I'll tell you.
Worked out.
No, great shot, but just under the circumstance, you sometimes won't see a player pull the trigger on something like that.
Yeah, this goes back to what you've been telling me is, you got to come with good shots in this crowd.
Oh yeah.
To really assure yourself. Now it's just a stop shot, and he'll be in complete control. Just have to run the last 3 balls.
Well, it's a weird psychological thing, Like when I look at a crowd like this, and I've done that here in the last few years at some big tournaments I got to play in, and it actually helped me as I told myself, hey, I need to play my top game to win. So don't back off shots. If your gut is telling you need to break that out, or that's what you would normally do if you're feeling good, go ahead and do it. You got to get informed playing that way to come over the mental challenge sometimes, and it actually helped the physical side as well. So it's just a little, he's following it. Nothing wrong with that. I thought he may draw it down the end rail. And kind of from nowhere, Fedor Gorst looking to stay in this World 10-Ball Championships.
Yeah, he's looking to win 6 games in a row to steal it away from Matt Edwards. I guess Matt was looking at the finish line and just couldn't finish.
Yeah, had a few chances, that's for sure. And he got a couple bad rolls where he had snookered Fedor, and Fedor got away with it a little bit. But nevertheless, Mr. Gorst is going to advance to day 3.
Well, one of the things about pool is it's a game of control. And when you let that person to the table, it's out of your control. Let your opponent. What a match.
Yeah, well, Mr. Edwards, Matt Edwards, going to think about that one probably for a little bit. A little bit, I mean, I think he's a guy that's got a bright future, and from New Zealand, is going to win some tournaments and learning still. But I really enjoyed it, George.
Likewise, Jeremy. Jeremy Jones, George Teachea signing out for the night. See you tomorrow.